is what fasting helps the person to become. Fasting helps the person to become consciousness, conscious, and to have piety, to become righteous. As it is mentioned, so that you may obtain piety through fasting, because fasting is a course to piety due to what it entails of suppressing of the soul. Like when you fast, it suppresses you from doing things. Yes.
The first person in the world was Adam, right?
Huh?
The first person was Adam, right?
I'm only answering questions pertaining to what I'm talking about. So when the person who is fasting, this enables him to act a certain way, right? When you are fasting, this helps you act a certain way. It keeps you from saying certain things when you're fasting. Through fasting, it is a course to piety due to what it entails of suppressing of the soul and subjugating of the lust, and suppressing it, keeping it from doing things, keeping it from saying things that it shouldn't say. When we fast, we should only say that which is good. So the fast in this noble month was not legislated except for the actualization of piety. It wasn't legislated except that the person actualized the taqwa, the fear of Allah, piety, that he must act and do certain things according to that which is pleasing to Allah. Which is pleasing to Allah is that you read the Quran during this month. That you remember Him by what? By saying Subhanallah. Remembering Allah by saying Subhanallah. Allahu Akbar. Wa la ilaha illallah. Right? This is how you remember Allah. Especially during this month where the deeds are multiplied. Rather, it is one of the things that assists most to achieve. Fasting helps the person to achieve righteousness. When you leave off of your food and your drink, and you're leaving off of things that Allah is displeased with for His sake, it is one of the things that assists most to achieve is taqwa, is righteousness. It helps the person to achieve this righteousness of Allah, consciousness of Allah, to fear Allah. As Ibn Qayyim, a famous scholar by the name of Ibn Qayyim, he said, fasting has an amazing effect in preserving the physical outer strengths and the spiritual faculties, and protecting them from imbalance, to protect them from any imbalance that brings to them harmful elements, which if gain ascendancy will ruin and spoil them. And it has a remarkable effect in eliminating all harm entities that prevent them from being healthy. So therefore, fasting prevents the health of the heart and limbs. Therefore, fasting preserves F1. The fasting, it preserves the heart, and it preserves the limbs, and it returns to them all that which has been stolen from them at the hands of the lust and desires. It is from the great aids in attaining piety, as Allah He mentions, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyamu kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. That when a person fasts, especially during this month of Ramadan, as Allah He mentions, O you who believe, observing the fast, it is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, so that you become piety, so that you become righteous. When you don't have any food in your system, when you haven't eaten anything, or you haven't drunk anything, right? You don't feel like, doing too much. You have a desire, your desires are lessened. Your desires are lessened. And likewise, the fasting, it is a school, right? Fasting is a school that you go to learn. I'm using examples. This is an example. Fasting is a school that you go to learn. A school that you go to learn. You learn many things from fasting. The fasting person trains himself to be conscious of Allah, to be aware of Allah, the Most High, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he abandons what his soul desires, even though he has the ability to carry this act due to his knowledge that Allah is watching him. When you fast, you leave off of certain things due to the fact that you recognize that Allah is watching you. Allah is always watching you, so you're on your best behavior. Fasting constricts the pathway of the devil. Fasting makes the pathway of the devil hard to get to you. It's hard for the shaitan to get